regrets and lamentation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Edewo. But looking at the fact that there are more pressing issues right now in Nigeria that seems to take the attention of Nigerians, and looking at the fact that this thing has lingered for quite a long time, and despite what people have done, despite all the autopsy, nothing positive has come out. Do you think that Nigerians, looking at the fact that it's more like they have moved on, do you think that every tendency that Nigerians will still come out in this protest, looking at also the fact that it's as if they are preparing for fearless protest that is coming up on the 1st of October?
You see, I take in all of this is that the right to protest is a right conferred on every citizen of Nigeria. It is the way and how that brings questions. So anybody that wants to protest for whatever thing is misgovernance or whatever it doesn't seem to align with, you have the right to do so. But the how you do it is what we should be concerned about. We should not be afraid of people trying to come to the street to express their displeasure, to express their concern over things and programs of government. Look at Nigerian people in authority realize that that's the fundamental right that you cannot take from the people. So the better they do those right things, the better. So to get people to stay away from those problems, because if your policies are good people, there will be no need for all clamor for this, continuous protest. But once your policies and programs are anti-people and they are tending towards people finding it difficult to earn a living for themselves, this protest becomes inevitable. So it is high time they prepare to do those things that they should do to eliminate or reduce any phantom of people wanting to protest. That is the way to go. So this one will be a preparation. What the president also prepared to do is another thing entirely. Or for protesting to the Speakers of Assembly, to pressure them to also prevail on those concerned to bring justice to the issue of the death of Mohbad is a wake-up call, and it's a welcome development for me. It's my opinion, yes, and I feel whoever is doing that within the ambit is also welcome as well.
All right, call it a welcome development. Remember that the first results that was given from the autopsy from the police said that it was a natural death, and even the second one that came out, the doctor still said it was a natural death, though he felt that there might be some substance in his body which they could not ascertain because some parts of the body as of the time of the autopsy was already decomposed. And remember that this CCTV camera that they are talking about, it is still the police that will take it to a House of Assembly or anyhow they want to do it. What is the tendency that this time they are going to get out something tangible? Is the protest not still going to be a waste?
No, it's not a waste. The protest is also reawakening citizens' minds. That's not enough. People have reason to doubt and this to be to be seen to be doing it, and not the other way around. If at the end of the day, the outcome also affirm the earlier one, then from expressing themselves, the freedom of opinion, the freedom of assembly, the freedom of association, they are the right of every citizen of this country. Or how you go
today, Sunday Edo and aluminium workers from Okini, Osun State, was sentenced to 6 months in jail by an Osun State Chief Magistrate Court in Osogbo for stealing 3 tubers of yam worth 3,000 naira. The prosecutor Jacob Akitunde stated that the thefts occurred on September 22, 2024, into 6 months imprisonment with the option of a 25,000 naira fine, and ordered the stolen yams to be returned to the owner. Mr. Egadegbe, now looking at the fact that so many things are actually going on right now in Nigeria, especially looking at the issue of subsidy removal that has pushed a lot of people into hardship. A man here has been sentenced to 6 months worth 3,000 naira with what alternative to impersonation such as community prohibition could have been considered in this kind of case instead of 6 months in jail? Isn't this too much for just yeah, I wouldn't just call it just, because no situation I mean, justify the case of stealing. Stealing is stealing, no matter how small it is. But do you think that the 6 months is okay, or it is too much? The punishment is too much for this particular offense?
It's way too much. For me, it's quite unfortunate that the magistrate went that far. For instance, biblically speaking, when it is so pardonable in the Bible that it could be overlooked. And I was just thinking that I read through that piece, and I get very moved with the decision of the magistrate. Now, 6 months imprisonment and an option of fine. A man stole 3,000 naira, and I read his testimony that the hunger was more, and he's a married man. He stole those 2 pounds of yam to possibly increase the hunger of his family, himself and his family, and was caught. Now, yes, he's been caught. He has stolen, he's been caught. Return those things he stole, then give him a very minor fine, then let him already know that for stealing this, you are able to also face penalty for it. Now, you give him an option of fine of 25,000. The man stole what is 3,000, and that's what he stole. If the man have 25,000, why would he go and steal 3,000 naira of yam? For me, it's very ridiculous. There's no empathy on the side of that magistrate, with due respect to whoever it might be. So, for me, that's way too hard for the offender. Don't also forget, Nigeria, I just hope and pray that the government at the center, the subnational, and the local and community dwellers realize that there is so much hunger in the land, and people need to live. They need to live. So we must be able to plan to the caprices of the request and the request of citizens. As the essence of government, providing for the welfare and security of citizens. But today now, welfare is almost zero, security is almost zero, and people are now taking to self-help. Now, what Emma did was simply self-help to possibly go and get yam, to go and sit at his family can eat. But in the process, he was stopped, and now he's going to jail for 6 months of further hardship on the parents, on family, then all the option of 25,000. When will he get them to pay? So I totally, disagree with the heavy weight of punishment that was meted on the man. Why I do not condone stealing in any way, but now the place of empathy is also very critical for a leader. I expected the magistrate to show more empathy, to see that either you give him community punishment, okay, go and work at social place for social number of days, and that serves as an alternative to going to prison, so that he would have learned his lesson. That for me would have been dealing with that issue. It's like killing an ant with a sledgehammer. That's what the prosecutor does, in my opinion.
All right, Mr. Edewo. Now, it is stated here that the man in question who stole this yam did not have a legal representation, and of course, he was pleaded guilty. Are you telling me that, or are you trying to say that the pattern of judging a case in Nigeria is actually not fair to the vulnerable? Is there partiality in these things? Because we also saw in a report where a man stole 1 yam and was sentenced to 6 months jail, and here is another one, 3 yams, also sentenced to 3 months jail. Yet we have people who have actually committed offense that is more than this, and yeah, perhaps they do have the fine to pay and they are not behind the bars. So will you say that they are not fair to all, that there is partiality in this? Mr. Edewo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back, yes.
All right, like I said earlier that it is shown here in the report that the man in question who stole the yam do not have it. It's not fair to the vulnerables, because we've equally seen a man who stole 1 yam and landed in a prison for 6 months. And then we have seen people who have actually committed offense that is more than this, but they are able to pay fine that was given to them, and as the result, they are not behind the bars. So will you say that who can't afford at all all, and then we have those who can. And again, don't you think that if Mr. Edo is allowed to go, or better still can pay this 25,000, that it will also lead a lot of persons into committing this kind of crimes, knowing that I'm just going to pay fine?
Well, for me, I've always had issues with our judicial system in this country. Like you rightly pointed out, it is clear that no one can Eto did is condemnable. The point one is making here is that now you are punishing this man for stealing 3 yams, and whereas there are people who stole a patrol blind, and they are walking in the streets. At best, when you arraign them, there is this plea bargain arrangement. They stole so much, do the way with the pass, and before you know it, they are off the hood. Sooner than later, they are presidential pardon. I'm telling Nigerians that somebody who steal 1 2 of yam can go to jail, and somebody who steal trillions and billions of naira can just do with a little part of it and go and enjoy that one. So our judicial system has to wake up. They need to wake up. Our police officers to also wake up. Citizens need to wake up. There is need for people's advocacy to push entire citizens of this country to know that no one Nigeria is bigger than the other. We are all equal before the law. And what affects one should also be the same measure that should affect the other, because this aspect of the idea of preferential treatment for those in authority, then the man who is helpless, of course, he not want to help the one that is even on the lower part. That's what it will be. But in this case, you see the poor suffering every penalty, and the rich are getting away with their riches. And we say we are in a country that is governed by laws, and that by the rule of law is applicable. How true applicable is the rule of law today? So for me, like I said before, and I've said it again, what before that man is like, using a sledgehammer to kill an ant.
Oh, wow. All right, before we look at the next story, we'll just go on a very short break. When we return, we'll take a look at the rest of the stories. Do stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required, issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and I still have Mr. Edewo in the studio with me. And now on the rest of our stories. In Ilorin, Kwara State, dozens of children, mostly under 15, held a protest on Saturday against President Bola Tinubu's government, expressing frustration over the hardship caused by his administration. In a viral video, the children were seen waving leaves and chanting "Tinubu teeth." This suffering is enough. Another group protested outside the Emir of Ilorin's palace, also complaining about the hunger and hardship. A local commercial driver, Wahab Ajibaya, voiced similar frustration over rising fuel price, saying despite earning 20,000 daily, fuel costs left him with only 3,000 to support his family. He criticized the ruling All Progressives Congress for worsening conditions in Nigeria. All right, this is quite unfortunate. But Mr. Edewo, children in Kwara State are protesting to express frustration over the hardship caused by Tinubu's administration. Is this not a problem? Do you see an issue of insecurity here, like exposing the children to insecurity in the state? Because looking at this story, we didn't see that there are organizers or there are people guiding. There were no security personnel moving along with them. We just saw in a report and also the video that children are protesting and calling on the federal government and also the president to do something about the hardship. And looking at a man complaining about the cost of fuel, well, it's a normal thing that Nigerians are crying over, which is not yet fixed. What do you think about this report?
Well, it's quite unfortunate again because but it beckons on those in authority to know that we are sitting on a time bomb. I've always told people in leadership that leadership is transient. And when people are, when there are signs that things are likely going to go the other way, and leaders are adamant, it leaves much to be desired. Today, it's no longer news. Now it is degenerating now to the extent that young ones, teens and teenagers, children are now entering the streets. So it's an eye-opener. I do believe that Mr. President will have listened or heard this news, or his media handlers will bring this to his notice to know that these are not good signs for the days to come. If children are going afraid of protesting for hunger, it then means it becomes a continued part of the a spark of fire left unattended to on the building. That's what we're told in conflict management. So, as a conflict prevention expert, I understand people that it is better to be preventive than to manage the outcome of conflicts. So, I think that Mr. President should address all of these, red flags that are showing up here and there. It is not to do bone-face, because when you do bone-face, when it happens, everybody suffers in it. I am advocating that with this children protest that happened in Osogbo, let us not allow it to escalate by other different states doing this. At the same time, it becomes uncontrollable. So what be done should be done, and it should be done now. Nigerians can't come to death with the fuel today. They are not in the hall, they are not to it. When we were importing fuel, we were at 700 naira, 600 or something. Now that Dangote refinery is kicking up, it is not that fuel is above $1,000. And speaking to you from worry, I bought fuel per liter 4,350 naira. NPCL is now a private entity, and you see government hand, coming in there. So I really cannot understand this. And I think that leaders should know that the limit to human endurance. When you push a man to the wall, he will turn back at you. Let's not push our people to the wall. We are not getting to the precipice. And I think that our leaders should have that human feeling to address these issues. The other time I listened when some of those posts that the president said he no longer listen to social media and what, he has to listen. He has to go down and listen to them because he has learned to lead Nigerians and not to choose what he listens to and what not he listens to. With due respect to him. We our leaders to account at all time. We do respect to the offices they occupy, and we also do that within, means as well. For me, I subscribe constant engagement of those in authority, and there is no need to be intimidated by whoever. It is within our right to engage those in public office because they volunteer, they ascribe, and they convert our own, cooperation for them to be elected at this point in time. So they must live up to responsibility.
And Mr. Edewo, having known that any protest in Nigeria, despite how peaceful it is not always ending most times well, don't you think that the organizers are exposing these children to danger? And again, do you think because it is the children that have hit the streets that it will cause the president to actually do what he couldn't do after Nigerians protested on August 8 to 10, and which he came up to give speech and nothing tangible was there for Nigerians to hold on to? So is there tendency that this time, because the children have hit the streets, that the president will do something?
No, but it's possible. There is no harm in trying anything. If we try previous protests and are working, and children of Nigerians are beginning to come to the street, why not? If that's what will give us, return the hand of the clock, why not? You can try that as an option. So, but all I get is that in doing it, they should be within the ambit of the law. It is the right of Nigerians to express themselves, be shy or whatever, as long as they are sensible to know that the excruciating hardship is biting hard on their parents, and they want to express themselves, let them express themselves. Law enforcement agents have children as well. They also go to the market, they buy the same fuel with that. Even though that we know public also that go to fuel dump and fuel their cars, so don't even know why the Nigerian man is facing by buying fuel at 1,350 naira per litre. Because government, you go to them and take fuel to drive, and that's why they could drive 50 vehicles, 100 vehicles, and pick a governor for one meeting that only a governor will be sitting talking and every other person just milling around him. All of those places have to stop, and they have to stop now.
All right, thank you so much. Let's look at the last story for today. Nigerian Red Cross Society, with support from the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, has launched a 2.5 billion emergency appeal to assist vulnerable Nigerians over the next 18 months. The appeal aims to address severe hunger, malnutrition, and provide 1.5 million Nigerians due to conflict and inflation. The NRCS, which will also host its first annual Federalizing Gala Night in Lagos to support the appeal. The event will focus on raising funds to combat hunger and improve sanitation across Nigeria. Well, I think we should say that this is a good news first. Yeah, this is a good initiative. But Mr. Edewo, Nigerian Red Cross Society launched a 2.5 billion naira emergency appeal to assist vulnerable Nigerians over the next 18 months. And remember that the report said that about 31.8 million Nigerians are hungry. Is the situation of food security in Nigeria something of 2.5 billion naira? Do you think that 2.5 billion naira can actually feed the whole Nigerians annually? And if this is done, how long will they sustain this initiative?
All of that, so that the more the merrier. But 2.5 is way far from what we do anything to the hunger that is in the land today. And I worry so well for those indigent people who cannot even fend for themselves, and in the level of hardship that even people who are complete in themselves, they cannot even fend for themselves. So what becomes of those indigent organizations that have been there for years, and they are quite transparent and well-meaning in all their ideas, and of course their givings. So I enjoy other agencies, humanitarian agencies, to follow suit with what Red Cross is offering, and of course so that it becomes an area for the Nigerians that are suffering hunger here and there.
Okay, you also call it a welcome development, and we can it could be recalled that the federal government sent trucks of rice to different states in which some governors did not actually receive, according to what's looking like audio, possibly show evidence so far. What is the tendency that whatever the Red Cross wants to do right now is actually the right step they are taking to assist the vulnerables?
Yes, the difference in what the Red Cross is doing is that Red Cross is being used to serving the interests of humanity all along. It is different from what government, like I pointed out, the vast supply sent by the federal government. Of course, the story is there how that politicians, people who are fritting on our patrimony are the ones that position. It does not address the plight of humanity. They are very selfish to the extent that it has to be them and them alone. At best, their immediate family and their extended family. The people to get those services don't get them at all. But for Red Cross, we've known them to be humanitarian in all the levels. Now, for government, what to do is no. But just because of their self-mindedness and their primitive method for acquisition of material resources and wealth, they won't want to see the right path to go. For instance, the civil society, credible ones are out there who are ready that need them most. But they won't go through it. They won't go that way. They will always go their political way where they will manipulate, the space, assuring the space for people for fear of transparency and accountability. So they won't bring in the well-meaning, humanitarian NGOs and civil society organizations that will help them distribute this fully. If they have stuck in trade, but I pray that God touches their heart at some point to turn the new leaf and serve the interests of Nigerians in all they do. It is there and then we will know that we are in a country that is egalitarian in all aspects.
And you think that the Red Cross alone can carry out these major projects and Nigerians will feel the effects of what they want to do?
No, I didn't say so. And that's why I said what the Red Cross is doing should also be emulated by others to follow suit. That's why I use the word, the more the merrier. Other well-meaning agencies, civil society and NGOs and agencies that are pro-humanity to join, in what the Red Cross is doing. That's what I said earlier, and I stand by that.
All right, thank you so much for joining me on this show. It was nice having you in the studio this afternoon, Mr. Edewa.
This is my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thank you, our viewers. Thank you for joining us on this show. If you miss out, you can join us on all our media platforms. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. I am Immaculata Irikana. Good afternoon. Continue to watch ATN Social. See we come your way next time.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media made a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now